good afternoon. It is Cinco de Mayo.
I forgot.
It is Cinco de Maxwell.
Oh.
I'm trying to have the holiday converted.
Okay, but it's not working.
It's not working. It's not working. It works in my little group.
So he's truly a
happy
happy
birthday.
birthday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yes. We held him in like, it was like, don't push, don't push, don't push. Because he was coming out. They gave us like an hour when we went to the hospital, and it was like 8 o'clock. And we're like, hold it. She's like, I'm not holding it. I'm like,
But he could have been the 4th with you. May the 4th.
well, now I don't even know. Yeah.
That wasn't a thing.
It wasn't
I
a
think that's
thing
newer.
15 years ago. Yeah.
This is true, because that would have been
14.
It would have been
14.
cool.
Yeah.
He's 14, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh.
true.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday,
Do you give him
Max.
a sombrero and everything every year?
No. But
Does he
I did take photos. I did a personal photo shoot. You know how people set their babies up? Well, I laid a Mexican blanket
Yeah,
out,
you did.
a hat sombrero, and laid him in different positions. He's not a fan.
He doesn't like
He's not a fan.
So
He's
don't ever
not a
show those.
fan.
Yes, at your wedding they will be shown.
They
will be
will.
shown.
It's funny
Absolutely.
because he's as white as he could be. I mean, he's white
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
all of us. And he said
Right.
at school, his
I'm white
friends make fun of, call him like, I don't know, whatever names
Yeah.
are semi-racist for
Uh-huh.
Mexican people.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
Oh, Lord.
the kid doesn't even speak Spanish. Like,
But he has a very olive skin.
he does.
And the
He
dark
does.
hair and the dark
Yes,
eyes.
and that
Yeah.
would make him kind of.
Yeah.
Is that from you? I guess is that.
Well, the dark eyes are from Jeanette.
Okay.
Yeah.
The dark hair, I guess, is both of us. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. Well, hey, we're here with Erin Drez and Lori King.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. This is
Hey.
awesome.
This
I
is
know.
fun.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about what you guys got going on. So, both of these ladies are widows, and we'll dive into that a little bit, and the organizations that they're both a part of, some together, some separate, and how they're supporting the community. So, and then we'll tell lots of inappropriate jokes about it. So,
And we call it widow humor.
widow
It's all
humor.
on the table.
It is
Widow
100%.
humor.
It
Right.
gets a little morbid, but we like it.
Okay,
Does
awesome.
that change though? I feel like yes. I wasn't as morbid about stuff before.
In the beginning?
Yeah, like no, just
Oh,
when
before
I
Wayne
wasn't a
died.
widow. Yeah,
Yeah,
before
for
Wayne
sure.
died.
So, like
Now-
you're saying your humor's gone darker.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mhm.
It might be age too, though.
Maybe.
'Cause, like,
well,
like-
she's still young.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
you're
true.
not. You're a
You
baby.
know.
Yeah.
Do y'all need a nap? You okay?
No, you need to nap.
They need a break. I'll keep talking.
We're going to bed in a couple hours. We're good. We can't take a nap this early.
That's right.
Oh, this late?
I stay out till dark.
I really do go to bed early, which is even funnier.
Oh wow. What's early?
Oh, I like to be in bed by 9.
Oh, that's not.
Well,
I
I
mean-
mean, people make fun of me. My
Yeah.
young friends, they make fun of me.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
what it is.
it
right?
is.
And
So how long?
And then I don't sleep.
Oh, you don't? Do you fall asleep? Do you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep?
Both. Like I can't go to sleep, and then when I go to sleep, I wake up.
You should try medicinal. Sorry.
I should try
No.
all the things. I feel
They
like I
do
tried
have-
all the things.
They do have, and maybe we can get a sponsorship. Charlotte's Web, if you're not familiar
I've
with
never
it.
heard of that.
Charlotte's-
Book.
A children's book.
Right. No, what they sell legal gummies, but they are THC. I don't really understand the whole THC, but they do all, and they're, some are for anxiety, some are for sleep,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know. I went through a phase where I couldn't stay asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd always fall asleep, but then I'd wake up, and then
Right.
and so I would just take them occasionally, and they worked well.
Hmm.
And they're like real light. Like if you take it and you're not going to sleep, you're not going to feel it
Okay.
at all. So they're very light.
I'm sad that they're named Charlotte's Web. I know. Like they're stealing a really innocent name.
I know. My
How
daughter was
innocent!
just
They
in
killed the
Charlotte's Web.
spider. That's such a sad story.
What? You went to the play
I did.
that my daughter was in, and you were like in tears.
Oh.
I don't know
Was
that.
that the play?
Don't edit that out.
I don't cry. I've never cried in my life. FYI.
That was the play.
It
I
is
missed.
sad.
Oh, I didn't know it was Charlotte's Web.
They did a Charlotte's Web.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
No, that's the evolution of life, right? Things got to get killed for life to continue.
I know. Why not
See,
slaughter? Why couldn't
You're
they?
born to live, you die.
We're getting morbid.
Yeah, but why couldn't they slaughter the pig? I mean, the pig had the long life. And the
Yeah.
pig's actually food for somebody that killed the spider for no reason. Like no one was going to look back at it and go, that spider sure lived a long time. That's not realistic. It's got a talking pig, but yet they kill the spider off right away.
She was talking.
And she worked for the pig the whole time.
Yeah.
She did.
She did
Yeah.
things for the pig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why?
I don't know.
Oh, it's to save the pig's life,
To
right?
save the pig's life, but she hung on to have all the babies. Remember, she was
She
like,
did. Well, babies kill.
they killed the mother.
I just wanted to leave that floating
The-
out there. No, don't.
Wait, the spider babies killed?
I don't
No,
know.
not kill, but is that one of the animals where once they birth their babies, it's like done in peace?
there-
and that?
Oh.
I don't know.
She had like 1,000 babies, and they
She
flew all over the
did.
place.
Maybe so. I don't
Maybe
know.
spiders die after they birth.
I don't know.
I don't know. Man,
I don't
you're
think I've ever
diving
read
in.
the book.
You
Uh-huh.
have?
No.
Okay, y'all know it really well because you've just seen the play. But I mean, I read the book years ago. But I feel like that was one of the books I had to
You're
read.
kind of
Yeah.
dressed like Charlotte
Right.
today.
Oh, that could be like the Black Widow.
Okay.
Wow. All
Wow,
right.
see, we told you. It's gonna be a wild ride.
Let's bring it on back. All right.
It's gonna be a lot of editing.
So, how long have y'all been widowed? Just quick. How long has it been?
Mine's 6 years.
6
Be
years.
7 in October.
7 October.
Same, just past 6. It
Just
was
past
in
6.
March. Mhm.
Awesome. I don't really have a follow up for that. I should have prepared for that.
That's okay. That's
So let's
okay.
jump into, I guess it's not called a charity. What's it called?
Ministry.
Ministry
Non-
or
nonprofit.
nonprofit. I like that
Mhm.
because maybe not everybody's. Are they both religious based, or is there an outlet
Why don't you
for?
talk about Never Alone first?
Okay.
What you do with them, which is
Okay.
how we met,
Okay.
Yeah.
and then we'll go into how Two Small Coins
Yeah.
came.
Okay, so Never Alone is faith based,
Mhm.
right? So
Okay.
you can't be atheist or agnostic, or they might try to convert you, probably, right? You have
You
to.
can.
believe-
You just gotta keep it a secret.
Well, you shouldn't be. You need to believe in God and, the Holy Spirit, right?
That's right.
Truly. So
The Trinity.
the Trinity, yes. Okay, so Never Alone is a local chapter here. They have a national chapter as well, but I run the local chapter for Noonan Peachtree City in Fayetteville, and it is a faith-based. We do a Bible scripture. We discuss widowhood and life in widowhood via passages of the Bible, and we just talk about life in general as a widow. And
Meet once a
lots.
month.
We meet once a month at my house, and a lot different than like a grief share group because it's very specific to widowhood. So,
Okay.
right, grief share is anybody.
Anyone that's lost
anyone
anyone.
that you've lost somebody and you're having a hard time dealing, so you can go to a grief share. This is specifically you've lost your husband.
Okay.
So, and they do retreats and conferences every year, but the need was so great, which is so sad. I think the number I just heard is like 2,800 widows every minute.
Yep.
Wow.
In the United States. Did you just hear that? Am I accurate on that? I'm pretty close. But it's every minute in the
Yeah.
United States. That's sad.
Well, it is
Wow.
amazing when you, I guess, become more familiar with, I don't know what to say, like just the word or the circumstances. Now I notice it everywhere. Like before, I was like, oh,
Right.
but now I see, it's my neighbor, and then
Right.
so in real estate, I see a lady post that,
Yes.
oh, she's
Right.
selling her family home, and now I'm just seeing it everywhere, and then I'm starting to think of all the people
Mhm.
that I know, and I'm surprised at how many people I know that are.
Mhm.
That
When
are
you
widows.
always you think about older, right? Like kids are grown, you have grandkids.
Yes.
Like that's an age that we all know we're going to lose our person at some point.
Right.
But they say the average age of widows currently in the United States is 57 or 59,
Mhm.
somewhere in there.
Okay.
So a lot younger than you would expect, right? So
Mhm.
I didn't know any widows under 70, but there's a lot of us.
Any idea if that number's going up or down? Is there a trend?
I do think it went down pandemic wise.
It's down as bad in this case,
I think it's gotten
which I think the life
younger.
expectancy has gone down oddly in the last couple of years. I
I think
believe
it has gone down a little
might be
bit.
COVID might have dropped it just because of the
Yeah.
amount.
I do think
Yeah.
it's younger than it used to be. I think mental health is an issue. I think,
Mhm.
or a reason. It's gone
sad.
down.
Yeah, it's
For
sad. But you don't. So people in general, like if Erin and I are like walking around, or I mean, just in a social setting, and you're like, "Oh, I lost my husband, or I'm a widow." It's almost like they don't know what to say to you. Either.
Right.
What?
It's like
Like
shock.
what?
Right.
You're like how old?
Yeah.
53. Right. So shocked.
Yeah.
They don't. It makes it totally different. They don't even know what to say.
So do you find your group to be younger or older? I guess the question is like, because we're used to, you think of a
Right.
widow as somebody that's 75 that
Yes.
lost their,
Yes.
is that type of person even go to a group? Because usually they're older and they're like, I
Yes.
think of my neighbor
Right.
that just lost her husband and she's,
Right.
I don't know, but I assume she's 75 or 80 years old. And
There are
it's
groups
more,
for
maybe
her
that's
age.
more expected for.
Totally more expected, but there are groups for her age. So, so Never Alone, my local group ranges from how old is Celie? 21?
21.
21. I have a 21-year-old with a baby, right?
Mhm.
That's so shocking for people. And then I would say probably 55,
Okay.
60 at the max. So
But
I
there's-
did have a couple of older ones, and then they broke off and started their own for their, because we talk about kid things.
So there's no restriction to your
No,
group. It's just
no.
more of where someone's comfortable.
Correct.
Because I know that there's people that might be 65 that feels 45.
Right, but we're talking about somebody's like,
It's just swinging a lot.
Oh,
I think we're hitting it.
I'm
is it
sorry.
there?
We're talking about somebody, in our group, we're talking about day to day with kids and school and how
Right.
they're grieving and the loss of their parent. And they have older kids and grandkids, so it's not applicable. So they started their own group, which is fun. No, I mean, you want it to be what fits for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Just different stages of life.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
before you joined, or before your husband passed away, did this group exist here, or did you bring the chapter here?
I brought the chapter here via someone. The girl that was bringing the chapter to this area asked me to host at my house. So she wanted to lead, and then I
Okay.
was going to host it, and that's how it started. And then it just morphed into me being the leader, which is good. I mean,
Okay.
certainly I feel like God's calling.
Mhm.
So that's why everything happened the way it happened.
Yeah.
Very
That's what I
nice.
think. So yeah, and then
Right.
Erin and Jill came because they went to a grief group and didn't get what they wanted at the grief group. And so, who told y'all about my group?
Jill knew about it. When I met Jill, she knew about it already.
Is that because she knows?
She had been. I don't.
She knows
Becca.
Becca. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's what it
how-
was. So she brought
So
me.
Okay.
back to the grief group, that wasn't specific to a widow.
Correct.
Right.
So maybe they were just more general,
Yeah.
or
It was a grief share at a church, local church, and I had heard great things. It's a great group, but yeah, it was all different losses, all different age ranges, and I remember meeting Jill there, and we were the same age, raising kids, lost our husband, like such a similar story, and everyone else was a very different story than us, and neither of us just connected with the group, so we didn't go back. And then a mutual friend introduced us, and we realized we had been at that group together once before.
So then tell us about yours. When did you start your totally separate, non-Lori? Was it like, oh, Lori could do that, I could do mine too?
Shoot. I was like, we'll do our
So
own. Hey, want to
fun.
be on the board? Okay, great.
Right.
You did. You had an idea. She didn't like it, and you were like,
Not true.
okay,
love that.
I will do my own.
We started, so our nonprofit is Two Small Coins, which is based off a Bible story, where a widow in front, she doesn't know Jesus is there, but she's at the temple, and everyone is giving their offerings, and all she has left in her life is 2 coins. She's widowed, and at that time, I mean, if you didn't have your husband, you were
Null and void,
scum
basically.
of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one would take care of you, and you were outcast from society. And so she gave her last 2 coins as her offering. And then there were all these rich kings and men and giving just a little bit of all that they had. She gave everything. So we named it that because Jill and I felt strongly about starting Two Small Coins, but we had no time, no energy, no money, grieving kids. We were like, like we're not doing that. And God just kept going, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. This is gonna be
So how
great.
long has that been?
2.5 years.
2.5 years.
So not super long. I think what we saw, and the reason we're different from Lori, so like what Lori runs is the Never Alone group, is a kind of like I don't want to call it an arm of what we do because it's independent, but our spiritual care piece for our widows, part of what we offer them is come to our Never Alone group. I attend the group as a participant. I'm not a leader when I go to Lori's group, but it kind of fulfills that spiritual piece of widowhood, for us, so we don't have to recreate the wheel because they're doing such a good job. So, and our mission is to help widows move from surviving to thriving. And we look at all areas. So spiritually, which this is a resource we have for that, mentally, physically, emotionally. So we saw gaps in what the grief groups offer and what's not there for widows, especially those of us still raising kids or kids in college, young adults. There's just not a lot of support. You're on your own, and it's super isolating and lonely and hard. So we were like, let's make sure nobody else has to do this alone, because we're doing it alone, and we're like, we might as well do it together.
So what was the first few names that you came up with for the
Oh,
thing before?
interesting.
You had to have something.
Coin.
Because I'll give you a chance to think, because we are working on a name for the podcast, and I've already changed the name twice.
Wait, I came up with a great name. You're not going with it?
I don't even remember what it was, so I guess not. Unless it's
or
one.
you're stealing it and being like,
No. I'm probably going to change it every week. So if
Okay.
you're looking for us on Spotify, you won't find it.
Because it's got a different name.
I did. I shared the first podcast last week on my Instagram. And they're like, "Oh, you didn't list where it was, like the link to Spotify." I was like, "I did that on purpose."
That was on purpose.
I didn't want you to find it. I was like, we want to build a little bit before we get on there. So anyway, back to, did you have anything funny or?
I don't remember. Do you remember at that time if we had anything?
I don't think y'all did. I think you went straight to the Ruth story.
Yeah, I guess because we read the book of Ruth a lot, because that's about a widow, two widows in the Bible.
There's a book in the Bible called Ruth?
There's a book in the Bible called Ruth.
That's not
It's
true.
very short. You should read it.
Really?
Yep.
First and Second Thessalonians. Ruth. I don't think so.
There is.
Okay,
Genesis,
I'm looking it up.
Exodus, Leviticus. Oh gosh, now I don't know.
I mean,
it's in there.
Dang.
It's close to that.
You stuck yourself out there in the mud and I'm joining you all that.
I did.
Right after Exodus. I don't
That's
know.
about all I got.
don't know.
It's in the Old Testament. It's short. You can read it in quickly, but it's about a mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, two widows story.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we did throw around Ruth type things, but nothing fun or exciting.
Yeah.
Jill came up with anything.
Ruthless or the
Ruthless.
baby's root of roof.
I don't know. We do have some good friends that are starting house flipping, some widows, and I think I told you this.
Yes.
Their name's fantastic. They're calling themselves the Flippin' Widows.
I love it.
And I think it's fantastic.
I love
because
it.
they're going to
That
flip
is
houses.
great.
They are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us about Two Small Coins. Like who do you service and how do you service them?
So we're for widows. We really focus on widows that have, I would say, college age or very young adult kids and under. So you're still raising your kids. Even at that age, you're still doing, you're there.
Yes.
It's a lot. They're not
It's a
like
lot.
fully launched and grown. So we kind of focus the age. I can't really give you an age because it's different on when your kids get there, but more kids in the home or kids in school.
Okay.
So college and under.
Is there a time frame for both of you?
Mhm.
Like you think, maybe they've been going through this alone for 2 years and then never heard of any organization. Is it just for people fresh out the widow?
Fresh out the widow. That's awesome.
That
She just fresh out of it.
she just. That's
Sorry.
fantastic.
I mean, is it,
Widow.
you know what I mean?
I think we need to use that though.
No,
It's really good.
you're fresh out of widow. I mean, I would say before year one, rarely can someone join a group because they're still just in the thick of survival, and they don't even know what day it is, and they just need to have everything written down to know even what to do, right?
You don't know what
And-
you need yet.
Right.
You don't know
You
you need
just-
support.
you
Or someone
don't.
says, "How can I help?" You have no clue.
Yeah. And so that's the biggest thing about just even coming to a Never Alone meeting is the initial step to like make it to the house. So many widows will call or they'll say when they finally come, I drove here 3 times.
Oh,
And that I only meet once a month, right? So that's 3 different months they drove
Yeah.
and couldn't get out of the car, right? It's like, it's scary.
Or like we had an event the other night, and
Yeah.
2 friends were coming, and
Yeah.
one called and said, "I changed my mind. I'm not coming."
Yeah.
And the other
Yeah.
one said, "I'm picking you up. I'll be there in 10 minutes."
Yeah.
And it's just like, you gotta, like, to get into something like that. I think a lot of it's accepting that this is my life.
Right.
I would
Right.
agree with that.
So I'm going to walk into this thing and it's going to be real
Mm-hmm.
because I'm admitting that this is my life.
Mm-hmm. And he's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's very real. But I think a good time is like towards the end of the first year or right at a year.
So a slight change, but just somebody said this to me, and I thought it was great because I find myself doing this. Is they were very frustrated because a good friend is constantly like, "What can I do for you? Can I bring you this? Can I bring you that?" And she like yelled at me, yelling at that person. Just like, quit freaking asking. Just do something. I don't care.
Just do it.
Like, just show up. Is that good advice? Like, if for, whether somebody dies or sick or whatever, because I know we're all like, it drives me crazy if I have a Christmas party and people text me, what do you need? What can I bring? I'm like, I'm running around like crazy. Just show up with,
your own liquor.
show up with liquor, show up with Chick-fil-A, and if it goes
right.
bad, it goes bad. At
Right.
least it was a
Sure, I
thought.
texted, what can I bring?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone does it though.
I know,
Everyone's like,
I know.
I usually just reply ice because
Yeah, right.
We're
You can
gonna
always
use
just bring
use
ice.
You can
Yeah.
always use ice. That's a great
Yeah,
question,
it's a good
actually,
question.
because so many people don't know what to do to the extreme of not speaking to you anymore
Right.
Correct.
because
Just avoid.
they're totally afraid to speak to you, right? And
And
think
that could
about-
be like eye contact in the grocery store
yeah,
and a whoop,
yeah.
and like, because they don't know what to
They
do.
don't know what to say, right?
And I would say it's a show up. You
Yeah.
just show up.
And
Yeah.
it's, again, these are things I've heard, no experience
Yeah.
myself, but I understand actually saying their name and talking about them. Because we all try to avoid, like, my fear of talking to someone that has a loss or any type of bad situation is like, what if they weren't thinking about it at that moment? Now I brought it to their head, now they're sad. So that's always my fear of bringing it up.
Okay, well, I'll just let you know and rest assured they're always thinking about it.
So
It
then,
never
so
goes
you
away.
rock up and go, hey, it was like,
Yes.
oh,
Oh,
remember
hey.
when I saw you and your husband here?
Yes.
Y'all used to
Yes.
love this place. So
Yes.
Correct.
it is okay
Yes.
all the time.
All the time.
Never can go wrong mentioning
No,
them, bringing
no,
them
no.
up, or bringing up
It's
the tragedy.
actually
or whatever.
offensive when you don't mention it, right? Because you can see the person trying to have a conversation with you and they're trying to avoid that person's name and they don't even know what to say.
Right.
And so they just get stuck in themselves. And it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, Wayne, you and Wayne liked going to the lake. You and Wayne liked eating out. Like, it's fine.
Right.
Like, that's part of Trey and
It's
Lauren.
less
as-
hurtful
It is.
to
Yeah.
talk
right?
about it than to pretend like
It didn't exist.
they didn't exist. They don't exist
Yeah.
anymore.
happen.
It didn't happen.
Right.
So I didn't know Wayne, but he was. I just remember Facebook posts beforehand.
Yeah. Right.
He was he their baseball coach, or he was just a very involved baseball
Just
dad.
Very involved baseball dad.
Okay.
And
'Cause I feel like he always had the baseball hat
Yeah.
on, like in every photo.
Yes. And
And-
he is a running joke because every baseball game we would go to, on the way home, he would take a picture of Trey napping or falling asleep.
Yeah.
Because they always do, right? They're exhausted. Or on the way to baseball, he would be sleeping in the back seat. And so at the funeral, we had tons of pictures of Trey asleep in the back seat when he was speaking because that's what Wayne did, is just
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
pictures, right? And
Yeah.
he was just very, very involved.
I was
with
there.
At the funeral?
Yeah,
You were?
I
Well,
was.
thank you.
So I
Thank you for coming.
oh, you're welcome. Like I didn't know him,
Yeah.
but I knew you
Yes.
very well.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've always said there's two things. Like if you ever get invited to a birthday party, and you're never invited to a funeral, but if you have the opportunity, and this is me, you just go. I think
I
it's an
agree.
honor
I
to
agree.
be able to honor someone.
100%.
So even if you don't
Totally
And that's the
agree.
thing. You just show up.
Yeah.
Right? You're showing up.
Right.
sit in the
Right.
back, and
Yeah.
it also resets me. Like I go in there and I hear
Sure.
all these things that they're saying about a person,
Mhm.
and then I'm sitting there thinking, okay,
Yeah.
what would they say about me, and what do I
Right.
want them to say about
Right.
me?
And what do I need to do to get to that?
What do I got to do to get to that? Right?
Yes.
Because
And he died young, right?
Yeah.
He was 54. So lots of people are like, oh, check. Like, what? I mean, this could happen to me, right?
Yeah.
Because it was sudden. It wasn't expected. He didn't have cancer or anything. So.
I think he was 54.
Mhm.
How old are you?
Mhm.
Sorry,
Uh,
you don't have to say that out loud.
No, I'm
Have you-
53. I'm 53 right now. So.
Okay, because I've surpassed how long Christian lived,
Oh.
and we haven't talked about that. I was like,
Uh-huh.
you're about to.
I'm about to. Gosh, I hadn't even thought about
It's
that.
weird.
That is weird.
It's a weird thing to
Wow.
live longer
Mm.
than your
Spouse
spouse, like to
did,
be alive
yeah.
longer.
And how long were y'all married?
Almost 15 years.
15 years. So.
Yeah, so 15
I'm trying to do
years.
the math because you were a little bit younger too.
I was
yeah.
8 years younger. I was 8 years younger than him. But we got married on New Year's Eve in New Orleans.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Did you meet that same day?
No. We met. He was my boss. He hired me.
What?
Scandalous.
I know. I'm like, is she gonna say it? Is she gonna say it out
Wow.
loud?
Oh my gosh, that is scandalous. He hired me. So, and there was no position.
Oh, so he knew what he was doing.
He created.
He created
work.
a job for me.
Doing what? What was? Did he own his own business or?
He did own his own business, but prior to that, when we originally met, we
Okay.
both worked for that. Remember those little free digest publications called the Real Estate Book?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we worked for the Real Estate Book, and he was the manager. And
That's right.
so I initially started out actually just putting the book together and doing the production of the book, taking photos and all that stuff, and then I moved into sales. But he was, he hired me.
I believe that book still exists, doesn't it? They
It
still make that.
does.
Not a lot of folks in
Wow.
there. Yeah.
No, they're still.
Do people look at
around.
it?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's kind of like a newspaper.
I think it's
Like,
one of those things
maybe a
that
few
you
people-
grab if you're in a doctor's office or if you're
Somewhere.
walking through the grocery store and
Right,
flip.
yeah.
Because I flipped through
Yeah.
them. I used
Yeah.
that's how I made sales calls back in the day. I always
Oh,
went
Yeah,
and got the new version of that to see
Yeah.
who was doing what.
Oh yeah.
And,
Yeah.
You know, it put a face with the name, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
that was.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
Right. I loved that.
I don't even know where you don't see them that often, but I did see
Mhm,
one
mhm.
recently. I remember being
Mhm.
surprised that.
So funny. Well, he was the manager of the Atlanta books, so he hired me.
So where'd you meet?
There, he hired me. Literally, that's where we met
So you met in an interview.
in an interview.
So he was just creating a picture. He didn't, or did he call you? There's something. Oh, do we need to cut it? Wait a second. He created a position for a person he'd never met before.
Yeah.
Lori's like,
Ah.
let's hang on here.
No,
Let's hang on.
serious. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was
Serious.
then. I worked for him. Right, he hired me.
Okay.
There was like we both had a mutual interest in each other. He was dating somebody else. I was dating somebody else. Ran through, got married, two separate people. Got divorced. We still had a mutual. He then went and opened up a business with his brother and dad, which is what's still going today. And I left the real estate book and went somewhere else, but we still had a mutual friend. And he, no, I was still with real estate book. Sorry. When anyway, our friend Jeff was like, "Oh, Wayne asked about you today. Okay, that was nice. How's he
Oh.
doing? Oh, he got divorced. Oh, he did. Okay, so that's how
Oh.
it started. And then we went to a Thrashers game.
All
Our
right.
first date was a
Oh,
group
that's fun.
Thrashers game. It was
Very
so fun.
nice.
Yeah.
Those used to be fun.
Yeah,
That
no,
was fun.
we
Yeah.
loved hockey. We had season tickets and we loved hockey.
So the business is still going,
His business with his dad and brother is
and his
still
dad and brother are still
yes,
running it.
Yes.
Is that something you'll see your kids
Yes.
take over, or?
You know, it'll be there if that's what they
If they
want.
do.
You know, Trey wants to be in the MLB, so
Very nice.
that's what his goal and aspiration.
Tell us about Trey, because I think that's a big deal.
No, I think it is,
Yeah,
but
it's a
I'm
big deal.
also, if you know me, you know I have a hard time talking about it. So I don't know, I don't brag about him. I probably should brag more, but he plays baseball for the University of Georgia,
Yeah.
and is
But not just
making-
any team. Like, they're really good this year.
Right.
Really good.
Right. And they were really, really good last year. Too.
Yeah.
So for the first time in many, many, many
Yeah.
years. So he loves it. He loves it. He would tell you he's going to school to be baseball. He's like, anything baseball, that's what I'm going to school for.
There's nothing wrong with that. I
So-
mean, the networking and everything is incredible when you play a college sport.
Right.
And so
Right.
whatever he decides to do,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
I mean, you want a degree just in case
Yeah.
whatever,
Right.
you know, but I think the networking is more important. The
Totally.
social skills, all of that,
Totally. agree.
work ethic, all of that he already
Yeah.
has if he
Yeah.
didn't play another
It's very
down
true.
of baseball.
Very true. Well, he
Yeah.
runs a
Mhm.
podcast too.
I think it's in him, does he?
Yeah. It's
A
called,
Downs football.
it's called the Players Lounge,
Ah.
which is being launched on lots of other college campuses.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
It's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
But his is called the Ninth Inning because it's two Treys that actually run the podcast. They were freshmen together at the same time, Trey Phelps and Trey King, and they call each other Nine. What's up, Nine? Because Trey times two, you know, with the two.
Three
wickets is
times.
nine. So they call
Oh,
it.
I didn't know that.
That's
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah. So they call it. They call each other Nine. So and they play baseball. So 9 innings. And so that's where the podcast got its name. So
And what's his number?
His number is 14.
What about the other guys?
1.
1.
Yeah.
So 14
both-
minus
but they're both
not
a tray.
1, and then if you take away 3 because of the tray,
Right.
it's 9.
Right. But they're
How's a
both a tray. But they're both a tray. So, which is funny that that's the case. But yeah, so he runs. And actually, I think he's really good at. I feel like he could do something.
He could do like
in that arena, like videos or so. He's very good at speaking.
Yeah.
So, and he does well at the podcast. But yeah.
Is it just speaking? Does he have the, like, I think you both know David King.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just fascinates me with his knowledge of sports. Like, he has a memory of things that happen in sports.
Mm-hmm.
And that you talk about
Amazing.
Miss Collins.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or not Miss Collins, he's still a young man, he can go
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But his ability to have a conversation about a sport
Yeah.
and something that happened
Right.
15
Yeah.
years ago
Yeah.
and how it went down and the strategy as
Right.
well. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I remember Damian Gary.
Yeah.
I loved him. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't remember what position he played, but he was number 18.
That's
and
a
he was a-
unique brain.
Yeah.
That's a unique skill
I
set.
It
think
is.
so too, but I don't know. Like to watch Trey on their podcast, and they'll be like, "Hey, do you remember when that slide happened and this happened?" And I'm like, "I don't. What game was that?" I mean, they're like, it's just like what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Or Texas did this, and
Yeah.
no, they can remember all things.
And is he an only child?
Well, personally, biologically, my only child, but I have a bonus daughter named Laura, and Wayne was married before me.
Okay.
And they had a little girl, but I met Wayne and married him when she was 2.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I've had her my
So-
whole life. She's
So
25.
she's 25. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
She's 25 and he's 20. I don't have
Nice.
any teenagers
Aw.
anymore.
That's
I know.
weird.
I know it is. It makes me sad.
I was another friend of mine has their youngest graduated from high school, and they were just sad for this, and I know that's really sad.
Mhm.
And they felt like everything was ending, and I
Mhm.
thought it's just this stage. Like you still have grandkids to go through.
Mhm.
Like that's different. Like
Mhm.
not that we're
That's
ready
pretty
for that,
cool. No,
but that's
when you think about it like that. That's
like yeah,
okay.
that's ended. But you get to do it all again, but only the good parts.
Right.
Yeah.
And they get to go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or stay as long as you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everybody says that. Like yeah, you get to send them on their way. But I know a lot of grandparents that
Yeah.
keep the kids for a weekend
Yeah. Yeah.
and keep them
I'm
all the
very
time.
good.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
good, my
also
kids.
love like seeing my friends with their college age kids or young adult. They're working and they're coming. They're not in your house anymore, which I think is
Right.
sad. But there is such cool conversation, and they're like figuring out who they want to be and what careers they want.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's a totally different
I just think
Yeah.
like it's an adult relationship,
Yeah.
It
which
totally is.
kind of excites me as my kids are getting older and we're having more of that fun conversation. I'm like, this is gonna be great, and then I don't have to like parent you. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something exciting about
still
that.
have to parent.
Like,
It doesn't go away. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've got one that does not let me parent him, and
Really?
that's sadder than anything.
Yeah,
Like
that
even
is because you have all this knowledge from things that you've been through.
wow.
But no, I mean just experiences.
No, I know,
and,
and
life.
yeah,
And you care.
yeah.
That's the thing. Is like
Yeah.
I care about your future, and
Right.
if they're not letting you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong
That's
on
hard.
some of my guidance, but it's
Right.
like at least ask.
Yeah.
Like, and
yeah.
I know he's established some independence and he has his own
Mhm.
thing, so I get it because he's doing great things.
How old is he?
He'll be 19 in 2 months, about to graduate from high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
He's definitely in that stage too, where he's like,
Oh, yeah.
I know how to do it all.
oh, I loved
like, I know
it. He
everything
told
about it.
he told
I
me the
got
other day.
You know.
I was getting on him for something. Oh, what he was spending some money on. I was getting on to him. He's like, you have no. I looked at him like with these mean eyes. Like, you have no idea how much money I have saved. And I was like, what?
Oh.
He's like, I'm an
Do
adult
tell.
now. You can't tell me how to spend my money. And I wasn't. I like it. Made me so happy
Yeah.
to know that like, he
That's
was
right, do
great.
tell.
Like, I'll find out. I will find out. No, but that was great because I have
That's
been
grown
on
up.
him to save forever.
Mm.
Like, I mean, years. I've told him for every $100 a month that you put in a Robinhood and buy a stock, I don't care if you make bad decisions. I'll match it. Put it in there. Never would do it. Never would do it.
That was awesome.
And so
Wow,
now,
what a nice offer.
Ah.
I know.
he probably would have stopped if he'd have done it.
I
I feel like our parents didn't do that for us.
No,
right?
God, no.
Like, God.
And that's the problem. Like I just learned about investing in stocks
Yeah, yeah.
in my 40s,
Yeah, it's
like
true.
late 40s. So
It's
I
true.
wish I'd at least been familiar, just those conversations,
Yeah.
because it's scary to
It's true.
think or research something or know when you've never heard that terminology.
Right.
So I believe if you surround them with that, the same way we try to surround our kids with
Yeah.
biblical things, it's
Yeah,
like,
it's
because
true.
then they're more likely to turn back to it or be comfortable
Right.
talking about it when they get older.
It's at least like those seeds inside.
Exactly.
Like you put it in there, and they have
Which
that
I'm hoping
resource.
that's what
Yeah.
Aiden has done now, is
Yeah.
that I've asked him over and over and over and set forwarded him, TikToks and all this about how if you would just save $100 a month from 18 to
Right.
24, you don't ever have to save a dime again.
Right.
I send
yeah.
those to him, and hopefully that is sinking in. So,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
hard, but
Gosh,
I think
can we start that now? Save this
Yeah, it's
money.
never too late.
Right?
Never too late.
Thought. I feel
You
like
just gotta
that
put more
about,
in.
I feel like that about Bitcoin. That's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, that seems so, I don't know.
I need a
Far
lot more
off.
education on that.
Right.
I don't get
I
it.
don't know. It's very
it is
scary.
weird though how to
Very
me Bitcoin is. It is now changed to I don't see how it collapses now.
Explain
I'm
that.
still
What
lost
do you
on
mean?
that. Right.
Well, it's just like the stock market or anything else.
Yeah.
Like we don't know that Tesla is not going to go out of business or
Right.
Apple.
Right.
But you feel like, okay, it's been around long enough
A long
and the
time.
value is solid.
Mm.
Right.
Something crazy would have to happen.
But I don't even understand, like, how do you get your money out? Where do you put your money? Like, I'm like all confused by it.
So you
Right.
can buy Bitcoin on lots of different. It's weird, and we won't get into that. But
Okay.
there's wallets and there's things where you actually own the token,
See.
which you own the actual Bitcoin. But then it's locked in a wallet, and you've got to keep up with that wallet, which is normally saved on a CD-ROM or on your computer. And that's the stories you hear where people lost. And if I'm speaking wrong, screw you. I don't know what I'm talking about anyway. This is what I know about Bitcoin. But
let us know.
yeah. But you can buy it through companies as well. So it looks like you own it, but you don't really own it. And if that company goes bankrupt,
You lose it.
right,
Mm.
like Coinbase or something like that.
Mm.
If they, for some reason, like I forgot what the scam was with Sam Friedman or whatever, where that was a whole Ponzi scheme scam,
Right.
and it just disappeared one day. They
Oh,
realized he had no
goodness.
money, and all those people
Right.
with millions of dollars, it's just all gone.
Right.
But if those people actually owned Bitcoin, which isn't tangible, it's not something you can actually own. I don't
Right.
really understand that part of it. But they would not have lost money, but because they owned it through,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
easier to trade
Mm.
because you don't have to have all
But
this.
there's a bigger consequence.
There's a
that's
bigger
outside
consequence.
of your control.
Right.
Interesting.
And supposedly the newer companies are trying to prevent that, and there's all this, but there's still people getting their wallets cleaned out and stolen and all that. But
I feel like I want to buy a Bitcoin.
yeah,
I
Well-
don't even know how much they are.
$95,000.
Okay. Well, I'm not buying a Bitcoin. Oh
No, they're
my
not.
God.
Are they?
Yeah,
What?
one Bitcoin is worth $95,000 right now. So 15 years ago, if you would have bought it for $15,
Holy
you'd
cow!
be okay.
I'm not buying a
So
Bitcoin.
like we just can't get into Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Like,
you
it's
could.
Too late.
No, you can buy
No,
fractionals of it because
Oh,
there's
like a
still
fraction of it.
you could buy $50 of
Okay.
Bitcoin. You
Okay.
just won't own a whole Bitcoin.
Let's divide a Bitcoin and own it together.
Do it.
Still a lot of money, but there's a lot of
We're gonna
thought. You've got a lot of companies that are now buying Bitcoin,
Interesting.
Amazon, or there's other companies that are buying it and putting it on their balance sheet, just as instead of buying a CD through the government, instead of just holding cash that's worthless,
Right.
they're putting $5 billion into Bitcoin and hoping that it goes from 95 to 110, and that's a good store of cash, is what they call it. So it's like
That's pretty cool.
it's supposedly a low risk. So the more people that do that, the less likely it is just to collapse,
To collapse.
in my opinion. But it could always go away.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need a whole. You're not buying one.
No. Well, there's a new one called the fart coin.
No, it's
I
not.
swear.
No, it's not.
And it is, the value of fart coin is like bigger than Ford. Like it is worth more.
What?
There's more money invested in fart coin than in several large companies.
Why?
Why do we
go create.
Coin.
because somebody made it as a joke, and then all the
And it
other
took off.
teens that
Thought
have
it was
$75 bought it, and then it starts going, and then their
Oh,
75
gosh.
doubled, and then people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw 10,000 in there because they got millions."
Okay.
Into fart
And then it
coin.
turned into 20, and then people with 100, and then it just became, because it's so funny, it just caught on.
We're not focusing on a podcast name for you. We're focusing on a funny coin.
funny
name,
coin name.
and we're gonna be bazillionaires. The three of us.
Yes.
Let's start
Yes.
now.
I
The
was
widow
crazy.
coin. The too small coin.
You should.
We
do
need
that.
somebody out there that can create a
coin.
crypto coin
Okay, that's
It's
what
a
it is.
cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Crypto
and
coin.
call it too small coins. I don't know if you can say
No.
plural, but
Too small.
or
'Cause
just
it's
a widow
fart
coin.
So you
Widow-
could just
It's
be
the fart coin.
The
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
coin.
The what?
The two coin.
The two coin.
Because that's all she had.
Okay.
It's the
Yeah.
Two coins. It could be the two
We
coins.
could put an S on there. I don't know if there's a rule.
I don't know.
If
we
you
use
know,
it-
and if you've made it this far in this podcast, please let us know.
Let us
This is
know.
fascinating.
Ah.
No.
No,
No, this is how you learn.
I know.
it is.
I'm like, we need a table talk with
Yeah. financial
David's-
person. Yes, financial. Have David do the financials on
something.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
And I've got these friends
How to
that,
make all us widows rich.
yeah. Well, I wouldn't be sitting here if I figured that out yet. So I don't know.
Invest in real estate, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it a good time to buy a house? For neither of them sell real estate. So what is your
Yeah.
opinion? Is it a good time to buy a house?
I would say, it depends on where you're at, right? Because things are still like multiple offers, from what I hear, in certain pockets. And then I just heard that the interest rate was like 6 something. Is that right? What is it?
Yeah, about 6.75.
That's down a little bit.
It's
a
down
little
fractionally,
bit.
yeah.
So, I don't know. Don't you feel like if you're waiting for the twos again, like you're going to be waiting
That's
forever?
that's not gonna
That's
happen.
not gonna
So, like, if you're gonna buy a house, buy a house. But for the people who have to move, I mean, you have a need. You might
Right.
get transferred with your job, or you have a life altering issue, or something. You have to sell your house. Right?
Yeah.
You don't
I
have
think
choice,
that's where it boils down to.
right.
is-
It's life,
Is if you want to buy a house, buy a house.
right?
Don't let
Right.
what you think may or may not happen
Right.
because
So
it,
how are
it's
you? What else are you going to do? You're going to rent a house,
right.
right?
And
so
rent's
that
ridiculous.
that is so expensive,
Yeah.
and it just feels like money out the door that you're not going to see a return on. Like it's interesting you asked that question. I have no real estate background, no any
Mhm.
background that y'all have. But I'm like, when is it not a good time to buy a house? I think it's always a good investment because you're buying something that's going to hope if you buy in a good area, it's going to appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can add
Well,
to
it's,
it. You know
it's
you have a
the
roof over your
same.
head.
It's the same thought of those people that want to wait for rates to be 3%.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Right.
thinking, oh, that big crash in 2009. A lot of people got wealthy
Mm-hmm.
off of that. But what you have to remember is the only way for prices to drop, for there to be a real estate crash, is because no one wants to buy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't just drop and you're the only one that's
Right.
not affected
Yeah,
by it. It
right.
drops because everyone's losing their job or because something
Something's
crazy
Yeah,
is happening
Yeah.
that no one wants real estate.
Yeah.
And most people believe that that's why there will not be another crash, at least
Mm.
in the near term, because people have so much equity. People have
Mhm.
so much cash and you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's just until people start losing their jobs and there's fear in the market, a year later is the time to buy
Mm-hmm.
because it takes a while for that to happen. It doesn't just crash.
I feel
People don't just foreclose,
Right.
this
you
is
know,
true.
the second things get stressful, the day they lose their
Yeah.
job.
Right.
They try to hang on for 6 months and then there's a 6-month
Right.
foreclosure process.
Right,
So it's,
right. So they're a year
yeah,
out.
that whole crash took a while. It wasn't just
Yeah.
like one
Right.
day
Oh,
values were
very
gone.
true.
It took 2 or 3 years.
It's very true.
So I have a question. I'm gonna flip it. I got the questions. How it seems like everybody is a real estate agent. Everybody has their license.
You know, that's the joke about Peachtree City.
Yeah.
You're either
Is
a
that-
pilot or you're a real estate agent.
It's hilarious.
Or you're a real estate agent and you're married to a
and
pilot.
you're married
Yeah.
too. And then you're doing
Right.
both. So, but here's my question, because now we're so mobile, right? And you're moving across the country, and you can live anywhere, and you can work remote, or you might get a new job in a different. Like I've lived in 4 states as an adult, right? Like, there's movement. When we were growing up and before that, you stuck to where you were from, right? And you stuck like you didn't upgrade your house all the time. You didn't buy and buy and buy. So
True.
I'm curious because as a kid, I wasn't thinking about who's a real estate agent. Like, was this a small community that now is a giant income building business that was not
You're talking
before
about
when
real
people were
estate?
local? Yeah. Like, was it like you only needed 5 because people didn't move as often? Do you know what I mean? 5 in a town. Because it is like everyone in this town,
Right.
even if they're
Well,
not
there's a
practicing, they have their
couple-
license in case they want
For me, there's a couple answers to that question. One is people become real estate agents because the barrier to entry, it's pretty easy. You pass a
right?
test, you take a little class, but also you control your schedule and how much you work. So if you only want to represent your family members
Right.
and
You
don't
could
want to do it,
that.
you could do that. You could be a realtor, hold your license, pay $50 a month
Right.
in the membership fee,
Right.
and then you sell 2 homes a year,
Right.
3 homes a year, then
Yeah.
it's, and if you don't need the money, that's why people do it. It's like, well, why would I let somebody else
Right. Take all that money.
take all that money
get
when
in a house,
when I can
yeah.
do it? I've got,
Mhm.
20 family members are looking to buy in here.
Right.
The other thing is when you talk about the growth is interest rates created this because interest rates dropped in the 2s.
Okay.
People that were living in $300,000 houses could now get a $450,000
Right.
house for the exact same monthly payment.
Right.
So they
Sure.
all moved up, which created this demand and the higher prices. And then all of a sudden they're bidding. They're like, "Ooh, we got to hurry!" And then, so in the last 5 years, that's what's created the true, just
Okay.
crazy growth.
Okay.
And that to me is why I don't know that interest rates are going to come down very far, because I think the Fed,
Yeah.
although we think that they're doing it for certain reasons, I think they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and they're not going to bring rates down knowing that it's going to cause a frenzy.
Right.
Now, Fannie Mae did forecast that rates are going to come down in the low 6s by the end of the year and be there all of next year as well. So that's not the dramatic drop people think.
Right.
So, I don't know.
So go buy a house.
I was in the
Get your
mortgage
house.
industry.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Whatever you
Yeah.
want.
I was in the mortgage industry a long time ago, and the rates dropped to 8
Yeah.
from whatever 12 or something like that, and the amount of refis were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Guys, I was
Right.
an assistant to a branch manager, and she had like at 50 minutes, every 50 minutes, she was doing a refi,
Yeah.
which was crazy. But think about that; they were in the 8s. People were
Yeah.
like 8%,
Yeah.
Going
From-
crazy.
From 12 to 8.
right?
It's big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, they were like, "This is amazing."
Yeah. When I got in the business, literally 3 months after I got in the business, rates dropped from 8 to 7 in 1997, and it was crazy. Like it was a great way for me to learn this business because
Sure.
the phone rang nonstop,
Right.
and all I had to do was learn how to have a conversation.
Right.
And I was terrible. I was looking across the hall, and the other guy in the office, he'd be like, "Ding, another one, ding, another one," and I'd have these conversations, and
You're
I'm
like 2 hours in a conversation.
I am, but I'm like, yeah, it's 6, 7 quarter. I'll run the payment. Like, do you think you might want to do it? And they're like, I don't know. I'll think about it. We'll call you back. Where he was,
Oh, you're doing it.
he was
doing
closing
it.
them. Yeah, he was like, oh, it's 7 a quarter.
You should do it. You're
Start the
done.
application, do it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
done if you don't.
And he would just he wasn't ringing a bell, but I could see him over there going,
You can hear the bell.
yeah, I could hear the bell. And I'm like, damn it, I'm sitting here all day. And I'd get 1 out of 20 phone calls, and he would literally get 15. And I was like, oh,
Experience. Because
Yeah.
now you could get,
now
you
I
could
could
get
do
all
it.
25.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's basically people, what I've learned from going through the process is people really need to be told what to do.
I would agree.
And
with
not,
that, yeah. Especially in that situation.
right, because they don't know. They don't know,
Right.
what rates are doing or what was it yesterday or what, or the math. Like I had a good friend that got screwed. They dropped 0.5% in rate and it was like $12,000. And I was like, why the hell did you refi? I was like, they called and said it was worth it.
Yeah.
I was like, and you didn't think, I did your first loan, you didn't think to call me, your friend, and like see if that was a good deal?
See if this is a good idea.
And it wasn't, and it was
Yeah.
terrible for them.
God.
So,
Because then they had to pay all the costs.
yeah, that's
People
the costs were
don't- yeah, and
astronomical.
people don't think about that.
And it's like,
the
let's
costs
just,
associated.
and it's simple math. It really is.
Which is
Yeah.
why, being on the other end of it, being someone who knows nothing about this, and I had to trust my realtors, right?
Sure.
And I had to trust my loan officers and my
Mhm.
brokers and all the people.
Plus, you
that
were
were
moving
gonna-
from another state.
Plus, I was moving from another
Wow.
state, and I was trying to buy a house by myself, sold a house, bought a house, right? All of the things I didn't know. You do have to trust them, which is part of, I'm going to circle it back, why I like Two Small Coins is partnering with David Mansour and other people that we trust in this community to not
Take
screw
advantage.
over, take advantage of our widows, because
Yep.
we've all been taken advantage of
Absolutely.
as single women.
Absolutely.
And what we know or don't know. But I think, like, y'all are talking all this stuff, I'm like, I don't know.
But
anything.
also-
I just been the person that had to trust. And it's
Yeah.
scary when it's your money and that much.
It is scary, but you're so vulnerable too, just in that
Yeah.
that
Well,
stage
yeah,
of your
in
life.
that
You're so-
season.
yeah, you're
But for
so
any
vulnerable.
buyer, there is a sense when you don't know,
vulnerability.
you are trusting
Yeah.
what they're telling you
Yeah.
on the phone.
Mm.
So true.
So pick
All right, well, I got all these note cards. Let's see. If we haven't even done
let's do
anything.
it.
Do the note cards.
Let's see. I like this question. I don't know if you have an answer. Where's the weirdest place you've ever fallen asleep?
Oh.
Weirdest place.
And if you don't have an answer, you could pass because I
Like
don't know.
adult, kid, doesn't matter.
If you can remember as a kid falling asleep.
I mean,
that'd
I
be
remember
fun.
so many restaurants, like pushing chairs together or
Yeah.
a bench, you know, like just falling asleep at restaurants.
I remember being able to sleep in our car,
Me too.
and it had the hump in the middle on the
Yes.
floor.
Yeah.
And my brother would sleep on the dash. Is
Yeah.
it called the dash? What is
No,
it called in the back?
the
The
rear
rear
of the
mirror,
back. Yeah,
that
that's-
area.
that's
One
what
person would sleep on the
Yeah,
seat,
and
and
then
then I would
one-
sleep on the floor
Uh-huh.
of the car with that
Yeah.
hump just right there later.
Yeah.
And it was so comfortable.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like I can barely get my feet down there now.
I remember the back of the station wagon because we like to face backwards. We had
Yeah.
the one that went backwards and the one that you were like side this way. That was the best sleeping.
It's like a Brady Bunch
It
car.
was like Brady Bunch car.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I like that. Yeah.
All right, let's circle it back to our husbands.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Would your husband be a friendly ghost or a scary ghost? So if maybe you're not you've had an experience,
Oh, interesting.
but if you had to think of
I would say Wayne would be a friendly ghost.
Christian would
with a
be-
little bit, would it be? Is it friendly scares or would
No,
it be not like mean like you're gonna hurt somebody, but like
mischief.
yeah, like
Friendly mischief.
pushing
Not
stuff
yet.
off.
Yeah.
Christian would
Yeah.
be friendly, but pull in like pranks.
Yeah. Like mischief.
Totally, yeah,
Yeah.
practical jokes. Yeah, what can I
Yeah.
mess with?
Yeah.
For sure.
All of a sudden the drawer pulls out. Like he would just be
Right.
doing funny things.
So does that happen ever?
No. No, I've never
No?
had that.
No.
No.
But I think the second I start crying, he'd be like, "I'm so sorry." Like
Yeah.
then the friendly ghost would be back.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, "Oh, I'm scared."
Yeah, no, I'm not having it. None of that's happened.
No ghost. Okay.
No, I think he's having too much fun in it.
Yes. Right.
I don't. Yeah.
I don't think he has time. He's like, I'm busy. I don't have time for this.
What is the most ridiculous thing you've ever Googled?
Oh gosh, ridiculous thing I've Googled. Oh, what is yours? You have one right off. Look at you giggling.
Jeez,
She's giggling. What is it?
Oh,
How
Is
to?
it
What is? What is a Bitcoin? No.
I don't want to say this one. Lori King's like, "Let me give your phone number to someone." I'm like, Google. Someone's name.
oh,
goes
okay.
there, but you don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I don't know.
Who
I don't
is
really
this
have.
phone number
Who
going to?
is this
Yeah.
guy?
Oh,
So, well, let's go right to that. So,
Lori-
two hot ladies, y'all. Y'all single? Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
hold on a minute. What's happening right
Wow.
Single.
here? Oh my gosh, hilarious.
And ready. So,
Right.
available? Not,
You know, that's a process too, though, on the serious side. Like, that is a process that you have to go through, right? Like, we just did a table talk for Two Small Coins about dating.
Yeah.
For widows. So, and that got pretty funny too and animated.
Yeah.
But,
Because we talk about everything.
yeah. And it's
That's
different
for sure.
dating in your 50s
Yeah.
versus dating in your
40s.
20s. Right. But it's
Yeah.
different, right? It's a
Yeah.
whole different type of thing. You have all the other questions, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're
What's
looking
your
at
financial
different.
security. Do
Yeah.
you own a house? How about your job? Do you work? Do you have your own car and transportation? Like the things you think you shouldn't have to ask,
Right.
you
Yeah.
have to ask, right?
Yeah.
Do you have to ask those, or do you assume them, but then you still research them, or you?
Those are the weird things you Google.
Those
about
are the
people.
weird things you
Oh,
Google.
okay.
And they're like, have they been arrested?
Uh-huh. That's real.
Do they? That is very real. We have a friend that just went out with somebody, didn't know his last name, and saw his credit card when they were paying, and she Googled and up popped his mugshot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But to be fair,
Yes. Yes.
I was on a date, and a
Uh-huh.
girl Googled me, and my mugshot popped up.
Oh.
And she was
do
like, "What were you
tell.
arrested for?" I was like, "I've never been arrested." And she's like, "Don't lie. Why are you gonna-" like?" And she was ugly and confrontational about it. I was like, "I've never been arrested."
So
Like,
she Googled you at the table?
no. I think
Oh,
it was
like
before, but
before?
she still went on the date
Yeah.
to see if I was being honest or something. Or maybe it was on the phone. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
I was arrested and booked for a
Oh my gosh.
unpaid speeding ticket.
Oh,
Long
right.
time
Because
ago.
people don't realize that you can be arrested.
Yes,
for that, right?
yeah. Failure to appear
Yeah.
turns into a warrant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
and
then
that's
you're
what
just
happened.
Driving down the
Right.
road and you get pulled over, and
Right.
you're like, "Oh, there's a warrant out for your
So
arrest."
I never
Yeah.
thought, by any stretch, that there was a mugshot
Yeah.
because I don't remember like
You don't remember
holding the
seeing it, taking
numbers
it
or that. Like I
Turn
never
to
put.
the left.
I didn't
turn
put
to
the
right.
jumpsuit on. Like
do
none
your
of that.
fingerprint.
I do remember that they did all that,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
and I was like, no. And then she goes, "Is this you?"
Oh God.
And I was like,
oh.
I was like, yes.
God,
What? And I had to
yes.
like go home and like, what was
Okay,
that?
was
What
this
happened?
date one, or had you been on dates? Why was she so angry?
Yeah.
Was
Because she
this
felt
farther
like
I
you
think
were
she's
lying?
angry because I lied.
Mm-hmm.
Like she asked, or on like an online thing it said, "Have you been arrested?" And you
No,
said
and this was before
Okay.
that. This was a long time ago. So I would think, I don't remember. It might have just been a phone conversation.
Yeah.
I remember that was the end.
She's like, we're not going.
I was like, oh, that's a funny story. Let me tell you about it.
so
and she was
funny,
like,
I even
nah.
forgot about it.
She's like, nah.
You should
Let's
have been
hang
like,
out.
"That's such a good picture of me.
Yeah.
I look fantastic."
Oh. Yeah.
I'm quite handsome, if I should say so
I'm
myself.
I look good in stripes.
Does Trey know the girl in Athens that keeps getting arrested and taking the beautiful photos? Have you seen that?
Oh no!
Who is
What?
You haven't seen that?
No.
So, a girl in Athens got arrested, and she's like went viral for having the most gorgeous mugshot because she was just
Oh,
looked
just
perfect.
Stunning.
I mean, she
I
just
mean, I
looked
feel like
perfect.
I want to Google that.
You
Yeah.
will, you will when you're not. And then she got arrested again for running from the cops, like they snuck into the UJ Stadium,
Oh my
and she
gosh.
ran and got caught again, and it wasn't as glamorous a photo, but it was still good. And they
Uh-huh.
think she did it on purpose because
Right.
Yeah.
She wanted to have more.
More.
likes
She
and
wanted to
Yeah,
continue.
she's trying to be the famous viral.
she wanted to be,
famous.
yeah.
Oh, that's
But it was
funny.
because it was a beautiful picture. Like it was,
That's hilarious.
you know,
It's like Beauty Criminals, like a whole new TV
Yeah.
series.
that's
Is that a
funny.
real
Instead
thing?
of no, like
Oh.
instead of Beauty Queens,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Beauty Criminals.
Probably could be real.
Yeah.
Wow.
Our friends, I don't know if they knew her, but they knew of her, so they knew that she was real.
Interesting.
Like she was a sorority girl, like normal girl,
Yeah.
just a little wild and just
Yeah.
Probably like
weird
most all
situation.
girls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him. I hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah. So now
Okay,
we're
we
on
got a-
record.
what
Let's
was
wrap this up with
Did we finish our question? What was the question?
what was the question?
I don't remember. Okay, continue. Then we finished it.
We did Friendly Ghost, we did
Okay.
Google. Nobody fell asleep anywhere funny.
Okay.
I mean, I got more, but we're going really late. So
We're having fun just all day.
It's
Ah.
been fun.
But yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a bomb drop. What is it? So Erin and I are dating, and Miss Lori is the one that hooked us
We
up.
are?
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
This was a test to see how well she did. So I want to hear about this. How did that go down, and what?
How did it go down with
Yeah, I want
Erin?
you to tell her what about.
Wait, but
What
can I-
about us? Did you? Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can I say before we started filming, I was like, wait, is he bringing us on here because
He's gonna break up.
you
with me.
set us up? He's gonna break up like
Ah.
in the same order
Like with me, with me in it.
You'll get the pancake picture when it's time.
Oh, what's that?
You're gonna have to flip to
We'll
pancake
throw that
picture.
on there. Yeah.
Okay, how did that start? It was like
When did that
it was a long time ago, actually. First time.
How many names did you give her?
Yours.
Like one, like here's 6. Pick
No.
one. These are 6 people. I.
No.
Here's 6 men.
I
Yeah.
gave your name over a year ago, like maybe going on 2 years now, right?
Probably going on 2 years. She
It's-
told me about you, gave me your name.
Yes.
Wow.
And I
that
said-
was a long time ago.
And I Googled you and I was like,
I was still
Sunshine.
in my 40s then, so that's probably why.
oh, he aged out of my
I
bracket,
know.
though.
I was in before.
You were in
She
my
did- I
bracket
was in there
before. I had to
before.
stretch my bracket when I met you a little bit.
Yeah.
My age bracket.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I
So
just
can,
wasn't-
can
I
we tell
wasn't
my
ready.
joke? Because I love my joke. It's about the
Say it.
3 small coins.
I don't know this one. What is the joke?
So because I'm older than her, I was like, I said, you sure you want to do this? Because you
Wait,
might
wait,
have to
wait.
change the name of your charity to 3 small coins because I was going to
Because I
pass
keep
away.
getting widowed.
I would widow her at some point. So I was like, you could change it to 3 small coins.
Yeah,
I thought
I'm
it was
dying
funny.
first
And-
this time.
in
No.
all
I'm not doing this
seriousness-
again.
Right? In seriousness, those are the questions that come up, though, that we talk about
Yeah,
when we
for
talk
sure.
about dating. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we don't want to go through this again.
Like, I literally
Like-
went on a date with you. I really liked you and then learned your age. And I was like, whoa, I got to think about that for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're only 8 years apart. So that's not a lot. That's
Are
like
you
you
serious?
and Ray.
Wayne and I were 8 years apart.
What?
8 years, a long time.
Wayne and I were 8 years apart. But like,
That's why you don't get my jokes.
it's almost, well, it's not a true decade.
Yeah.
It's not a true
Right,
decade.
right. So
No.
there's something about that they say about a decade. But in
Yeah.
all seriousness, it was a couple of years ago when I mentioned her or to you. What made me do it? Let me think about that.
Yeah, that's true.
What made me?
I
do
just
it?
wasn't ready to date anybody. I was like, no, thank you.
Don't
Don't
you
give
know
him
what,
my number.
honestly, like this is gonna make this should puff you up. Like it should.
Oh, hey.
I told Erin about you because I've just enjoyed like being around in your company, like just through real estate, and I just thought it was awesome. Like you raised your boys by yourself, and you were just dedicated to them. You were a good dad. Just seemed to how bad like you're in your 50s. I'm like he's very responsible, right? Like
Yeah.
these are the things you think
But
about,
those
right?
are the
It is
things that are
weird.
attractive at
Right.
this point.
Yeah.
And
Are
he's got a
like,
great personality. And he's really nice. And so that's why I told her about you all those years ago. And she wasn't ready. And then you went out with one of our friends. Can I say that?
Oh, yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
She's not here.
Went
Who
out
knows?
with one of our friends, and then she too was like, "I have somebody that you should meet." She said that to
Yeah.
you, didn't she?
Yeah. She wanted to give you my number too,
Oh,
which
wow.
was interesting.
Yeah.
You
After
sure it
we all
wasn't like an
decided-
invitation? Of
No, it
like,
was
oh,
not.
No,
Oh.
Widows don't swing though.
Oh,
but I
that's a
thought that
different
was
widow
funny.
club.
thought
I
that
think
was
when
funny.
y'all just didn't,
Yeah.
I don't know, didn't
Yeah,
hit it
I don't-
off
I
or
don't-
whatever.
you know,
She,
it's whatever.
yeah,
it
it
is
was
whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she
I just learned that.
she shared
yeah.
the name too, and then what brought it back up? I
I
don't
was
know.
like, y'all leave me alone.
I don't know what brought it back up, but
Yeah.
maybe after that happened, and then she was like, "I was going to share the name too," and I go, "Oh, that's funny. I've shared the name that many years ago."
Yeah.
So that's how
Yeah.
it. That's how it.
And
came
I did
about.
not raise my kids by myself. So I
Okay.
did do a lot of the work. And
Yes.
they do live with me most of the time, but their mothers.
But this is also I was a very distant person,
No, I
right?
know.
So
I
wouldn't
know.
have-
I would hate for my kids to see this and
Yeah.
for me to accept that compliment, even though their mother
Okay.
does
That-
a lot and
that's
is a
very
great
fair.
mother.
That's very fair.
So-
I did not know that. I wasn't that close.
No,
with
that's
you,
fine.
right. So it just appeared like that, and I don't know. I just was like, I feel like y'all would match personality wise, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Did I called you before her?
Yeah, you sent me a message
Mhm,
and
I was like, you should call this person.
yeah. And it was odd because I had totally stopped that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I've never had a good
Yeah.
someone trying to
Yeah.
match you. It's
Mm-hmm.
never worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yeah.
it shows
Yeah.
Interesting.
shows you what people think of you as well. And sometimes
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. You're like, oh, you thought I was
Like,
gonna
yeah.
this was gonna work.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So I shared the number and then I backed out. Right. Like I didn't
Yeah,
even
that was it.
ask.
Yeah.
I didn't even talk to you anymore. Like I just was
No.
like, that's it. Okay. I did my
You did.
duty.
happily ever after.
Here we are.
6 months strong. When you watch this,
Oh, is it-
Are we?
What? It's been 6 months.
Wait.
something like that. November,
Wow.
right?
November, December, January. No.
Feels like forever.
I didn't know it had been that long.
It is. What's the date today? Oh, it's Max's birthday. It's the 5th.
It is.
Couple days. 6 months.
Man. Oh, you
Wow.
know the day.
We looked it up recently.
She's pretty
Oh.
thirsty. She's
She. Someone asked me a question and I looked it up.
Yeah.
I don't know these things. I'm learning all kinds of things.
This looks like get me out of the middle.
So where do we find you ladies? Your what do we call them again? They're not mission
Nonprofits.
Nonprofits. Your
Mhm.
where can if somebody wants to forward this video to a friend that might be going through it and
Never Alone is on Facebook page. It's Never Alone Noonan _ PTC. You can also go through the national chapter, Never Alone Widows, and they will get you to a local chapter. So if you're seeing it from somewhere outside of this area, they will get you to the chapter that you're supposed to be.
if they show up, do they have to go, "Hi, my name's Mary and I'm a widow"?
No, we do not do that. But also,
But yes,
but
do
you
that.
do. You don't do that in the very beginning. Like I won't put you on the spot.
Yeah,
You do
no.
have to share your story. You do have to tell why you're there, right? But it's nice to come in and there's no elephants in the room. Like that's a lot about when you go off by yourself or somebody invites you to a party and you go and you're like everybody's coupled up or where's your person? Where's your husband? Like these are like the questions and none of that ever comes up because there's no elephants in the room, right? We're all there. We're all widows. We're all in the same boat.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you can go to the national chapter to figure out what chapter you belong to.
All right. What about you?
All right. Well, you can find us on twosmallcoins.net. You can go there currently, but go there definitely in like a month. We're going to have a whole new website upgrade. It's going to be exciting. New things are coming. And Two Small Coins Inc. on all the socials.
Now, I know you do a lot of fundraising, so y'all are raising money because y'all do dinners
Yes.
and gifts for widows
Yes.
and lots of things like that. So
Yes.
do y'all do any fundraising as well, or is it just a
The national
meet group?
No, just the national level. They do a ton of fundraising as well because they have
Okay.
retreats and conferences. But they do a lot of fundraising as well.
So that's not something you're responsible for?
I don't do the fundraising. No, I
Okay.
do that fundraising here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
That's
having us.
good. You're
This
very
was fun.
welcome. Y'all
This
have a
was a
good
lot
day.
of fun.
Thanks for calling me.
Bye
You've
bye.
been giving him my number.
Yeah. Anytime.
Hey. Well, no, not anytime.
Who else
Let
you got?
me see.
What else
Widows.
you got?
Yeah.
Wait, I feel like I need to be working on myself right
Yeah.
now. Who do I have
Yes.
to call myself?
Can
If you have
Lori
somebody
King's
that would
number?
like
No.
to date Miss
Her number
Lauren,
is.
but you better have a job, a 401k, a house.
Yeah.
What
He
else?
is
What
good
else is a
guy.
non-negotiable?
And you cannot smoke.
Yeah.
You have to. Honestly, you have to be okay with my story, right? Like that's a lot. That's big.
huge.
A lot of men don't have enough confidence to date a widow,
Mhm.
right? Because we didn't choose to leave our persons. So you have to be able to like my story. Like he's not going away. He's away, but he's not going away, right?
Right.
And
He's
not
part of
being
my
afraid.
life.
We've talked about this. Not being afraid to talk about Christian or
Mhm.
bring him up with my kids or
Mhm.
do like he's still such a part of our life and always will
Mhm.
be. And
Mhm.
it does take a
special person.
a special person to be
Mhm.
okay with that.
I agree.
We need a part 2, and we'll do it all about dating and talking and relationship. I like that.
Let's do it.
All right.
Part 2 it is.
Come back and see us.
Thank you.
I'm like, oh, did we need to
I
hold?
know. I'm like, oh,
I'm
goals.
freaking